New video time. Humans, I am Yard Offside FM, and it is very nice to see you again. This is episode 5 of Not So Giants of Giants of Istanbul, my Football Manager 2017 Let's Play series as Galatasaray in the Turkish Super League. So guys, in the last episode, you will remember that we lost heavily to Besiktas. I believe the final result was 5-1. I left the game feeling disappointed but understanding that we had lost to really by far the best team in Turkey at the moment. But to be honest, I don't really think it was just Besiktas being better than us. This is just Galatasaray either being a bad team or me failing to mobilize the players behind me because it's been really, really poor. We did get a result against Rizespor. 2-1 was the final result. However, as you can see, we were up 2-0 before 8 minutes from time Davide Petrucci halved their deficit. And I immediately thought, oh no, we've been up 2-0 for have the better part of a half hour. And we're gonna drop 2 points here. In the end, we did hang on to the result, but it was nervy. And to be honest, I sort of saw the subsequent run of results that came coming from a mile away. 2 0-0s against Osmanlispor and Karabükspor, and then 2 consecutive 1-0 losses to Adanaspor and Alanyaspor. I believe in this Adanaspor game, Wesley Schneider missed a penalty, and that was more or less our best chance in these 4 games to score a goal, and yet it's been since early November. It's over a month of in-game time. So it's been disastrous, and I'm not sure what the problem or the solution is, because I've tried all of the sort of tactic tinkering that I can possibly think of to do. I've used this 5-1-2-2 formation a fair bit, as you can see that there. It really packs this area up, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with it. We do get plenty of chances with both these formations, actually, with both these tactics. Plenty of chances are created, but just none of our strikers can finish, not a single one. You would not believe the number of statistics of shots on target that are easily saved by goalkeepers or just fly over the bar, and it's very, very frustrating. We also recently had to deal with, I don't believe I have it brought up in the inbox, which is a shame, but we also had to deal with something of a player rebellion because a bunch of players came forward to me saying that they lack confidence in my leadership. And as I mentioned, I think in episode 2 or 3, this has been an ongoing issue because of the training camp bug that I had from the beta. Of course, tried to call everyone into the training camp. The day after the training camp starts, all the players get sent home, and then all those leading players are very angry. And most of them have dropped their concerns, but some haven't. And I think it's had an overall effect on the mood and squad harmony. And I think that's had a huge effect in undermining a lot of my team talks. And it's got to the point now where I have been given a formal warning by the board. Lucas Podolski has resumed full training, by the way, but he won't be available for this Trabzon game that we're about to witness. He's just not fit yet. But I've been warned by the board, and let's just go back over here. I'll show you the promises screen. I've been told that I have to reach this points target. I have 5 games to get 11 points, and on current form, there's no way we'll be able to do that. So I think this is very likely going to be the end of the road for this Galatasaray save, unfortunately, unless we can pull out some sort of absolute miracle. And if we look at the schedule here of our fixtures over those 5 games, we do have Trabzonspor. And they'll probably be the most difficult of these upcoming fixtures. But even if we get a win here against Trabzonspor, I'm not particularly optimistic. Guys, if there is one silver lining in the last just sort of month of horror, it's been that there have been signs of really, really brilliant development from this young 17-year-old defender, center back, Rifat Demiroglu. He's a 17-year-old Turkish player. He is a regen or a new gen, depending on which terminology you want to use, and he's showed immense development. I believe when I took over in the summer, his potential was maybe only 2.5 stars, and I sort of just brushed him off like all of the other players in my youth team. But his star rating has progressively increased. He's done very, very well in training, and as you can see, he's making a lot of really good progress, especially with his physicals, and that's always something that I'm looking out for in young players. You can also see that as a center back, the things that I usually try to value are heading, marking, and tackling. He's already at 13s for all of those, and he's 17 years old, so there's still plenty of room to grow. I think he's going to be an excellent player. He's still got room for improving in a lot of ways for passing. I mean, it's not essential for center backs to have good passing ability, but as you've seen in my tactic guys, I do tend to like players who can be a ball playing defender, who can play the ball out of the back rather than just hoof it long and give up possession. But it's still is. We can fix that. We can train that. We can work on that. So not the end of the world. This guy is a promising young player. As his current ability is only 1.5 stars, he's not going to see a huge amount of he's not going to receive too many starts, but I am kind of introducing him into the first team. I believe in the last game against Alanyaspor, I gave him his debut. 20 minutes, came on as a substitute and did fine, although there wasn't a lot to do. It was very much us kind of bearing down on their defense. But perhaps we'll see a little bit of him in this game. Maybe if we get an early goal, I'll try and defend. I'll try and defend that lead. So yeah, guys, we are going to get started here, get into this game against Trabzonspor. As you can see, Fernando Muslera has returned from his lengthy injury. Let's just bring that up. History, injuries. Been gone since 11/12, November the 12th. Actually, so that means that you guys may not have heard about this. So he was injured with a sports hernia, a fairly serious injury received in training, probably because I was training all the players too hard, and so he was missing. In his stead, I did bring in Eray Iskan, who is our reserve goalkeeper, and he did quite well, as you can see, guys. 5 appearances and a 6.88 rating. Not too shabby. Again, we had problems on the other end of the pitch. Couldn't score any goals at all. But the fact that he played, those games and really only conceded the 2 or 3 goals. Pretty impressive. He did quite well, and I was really pessimistic about it. So fair play to him. But Muslera is back. This will be Muslera's first game back between the sticks following his sports hernia injury. Then in defense, Kavanda, Sheju, Serdar Aziz, who's also just recently recovered from a long-term injury and is just now recovering full fitness. And then Hakan Balta will take up the left-back position. Up in midfield, I have Martin Linus, who's been in very poor form, but I have a shortage of wingers, so I sort of have to use him in one way or another. Selçuk Inan and Tolga, the stalwarts in the central of midfield, in the central region of midfield, rather. And Wesley Schneider I will use as the left winger today, because I've been sort of a little bit dissatisfied with the performances of Ramon Mota over the last 2 games. He's committed a lot of mistakes, and his passing has really not been as good as it had been in the early stage of the autumn. Then Josue comes in. Haven't used this guy a lot so far this season, this Portuguese 26-year-old. He's got some decent attributes, as you can see, a little bit lacking in terms of his physicals, but that's sometimes is to be expected from these sort of smaller sized attacking midfielders. And he's also not benefited from the fact that we don't really have a role set up for him in our current tactic. So he hasn't really found a place in the squad per se, but he's a decent player. And he certainly can provide some attacking spark, although I don't recall him being involved in any specific goal scoring thus far this season. Might be wrong. And then Aaron Derdiak will come in as a striker. I'm completely dissatisfied with the way he's played, but Kolbeinn Sigborson and Ismail Insal have been even worse thus far, so we'll have to go with Derdiak and just hold our nose and go with it, I suppose. let's get into the match preview here. Looks like they are going to be going with a 4-3-3, and for what it's worth, this is a formation that I feel we do relatively well against. I don't know if it's because it creates a situation where our defensive wingers can drop back and protect these and neutralize the threat from these aggressive wingers. But I've noticed that for whatever reason, we do a little bit better when we're playing against this 4-3-3 compact midfield sort of formation. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. We are on the road in Trabzon, which is in northeastern Turkey. Not a full house, not quite a full house. 51 degrees Fahrenheit, which I believe is maybe 15, 20 degrees Celsius if you are outside of the United States. So we've already looked at our team. Let's submit that, proceed to the match. As I mentioned, guys, Lukas Podolski back from his major hip injury, but will not be available. His condition is not good enough yet, and I've been using him in the U21s, just giving him little bits and pieces of action. Galatasaray have been poor of late, and I can see this game fizzling out into a bore draw. Yeah, so can I. I'm very pessimistic that we'll get a result from this, guys. You continue to struggle, and there are suggestions that another defeat today might be your last as Galatasaray head coach. How have you been able to prepare for the match and that sort of pressure on you? I mean, I've been trying lately in press interviews, I've been trying to sort of downplay the pressure that's on me, even though the board are on my back. You know, they have given me explicit warnings, but I'm trying to not let the board or let the press know about that. I'm more than aware of the consequences of our poor form, but now isn't the time to talk about that. We'll just go with that. Left Lukas Podolski out. Is it due to his recent injury problems? Well, yes. He's just not ready. Selçuk Inan making his 175th league appearance for the club. Just how much does he mean to everyone here? He's a pretty vital player. I mean, I haven't been satisfied with his performances lately, but we don't have to mention that to the media. I haven't been satisfied with anyone's performances lately, aside from perhaps our defenders. Aurelien Chejou's really made his mark as perhaps the most important player in our team, especially since Muslera was absent. It's been an absolute defensive stalwart. But aside from that, there's not a whole lot of really nice things that I can say about our play. Go right through opposition instructions as usual, and let's select a team talk. I've tried everything with these pep talks, guys. I've tried yelling at them, putting pressure on them, to, saying you need to live up to expectations. I've tried saying try ignoring the media. I've tried telling them just be calm, play without pressure. None of them seem to work, and I think that goes back to that training camp issue of the players feeling I lack credibility and not really taking me seriously when I give team talks. Well, we'll just pick one, I guess. See, this is what happens every single time. There's never a result. There's never any progress. I don't know, guys. Really not sure what the issue is, but well, they're responding well to these individual team talks. Almost everybody did. Let's get into the game as usual. I will probably need to turn my sound off. I actually remembered this time. Delightful. So let's get the match started here. Trabzon's for our opponents, as I mentioned. I believe they've slipped down to 4th in the Super League, if I remember correctly. They've had a run of somewhat poor results, but they are probably still the much better team. And I would fully expect them to blow us away today, and thus very likely end my tenure as Galatasaray manager. Guys, I am ready to go with the and Guray puts one fairly wide of the left post. I am fairly ready to start my next series, which, as I mentioned, really depended on the class and leagues update and some database work. Mehmet puts one wide of the post, but that was much closer. So I think pretty quickly here I'll be starting that one up. especially if this series comes to a calamitous end. Another free kick, and they score with that one. Oh, I mean, it was you could see it coming even before we started the game. This is the sort of form that we've been in, and now questions will be asked: should I have left Eray Iskan, who was relatively stable in goal? Should I have left him in, given his form, rather than just immediately bringing Muslera back, who's sort of playing cold? I don't know, guys. So yeah, I think we will be bringing that series to fruition sooner rather than later. And I can explain more about that series of once in the first video of that series. But we are going to be playing in a very, very, very small nation in Oceania for that series, guys. And they score again, a 4-minute double for Mehmet Akici. Oh, dreadful. We are going to be playing in a small oceanic country. And I'm really excited about it. That's a brilliant free kick. It's tough for Muslera to see that because it bends right over the wall. But looking like I made a mistake. There's 3. We are getting absolutely blown away, and it looks like this is going to be it for this series, guys. For Giants of Istanbul, as I mentioned in the last episode, it's a huge challenge to deal with. Well headed there from Durica. It's a huge challenge to deal with, a club that's running into the amount of debt that Galatasaray are. I think if the board would put less pressure on me as the manager to get results, maybe you could take a longer term focus on developing youth and sort of rejuvenating Galatasaray's youth system, but neither the board nor the fans are really up for that. They want results immediately because Galatasaray are this historically huge club, thus the name of this series. So it's really difficult. I don't really know how. I don't really know how to make those corrections. Both Aziz and Selçuk in the book now. I guess the goal now is to just get a goal back and try and go out with a bit of quiet dignity. But Erdogan has scored. Yusuf Erdogan makes it 4-0. I just don't think the players are interested in playing for me as a manager. They've never gotten back on side. Horrific tackle from Serdar, and he's on a yellow card. It was really off the ball. Very dangerous play. Maybe should think about bringing on Rifat Demiroglu. I'll think about that at halftime. But yeah, as I say, I just don't think the players believe in me at all. And part of that was just the bug that I ran into, the beta bug with training camp, and part of it was maybe just the personality of the team, a misreading of that on my part. Perhaps part of that was selling Nigel de Jong, who's a fairly high profile player who I just didn't feel that he fit into the system. Selçuk with a corner. But in retrospect, that may have been a mistake because it may have completely disrupted the team chemistry. Feels like this has been quite a long half. Maybe that's just because we've conceded 4 goals. Schneider in possession on the left. Doesn't give up possession for once. Tolga, I thought he was going to put that on target, but it has gone over. And shot from Suk, who is, I believe, a South Korean player. He's well rated. Josue, that was on target. Esteban with the save. Hakan will cut that out. Schneider looking for Aaron over the top. There's been a lot of those sort of long balls that are just completely misplayed for Derdiak. And I strongly suspect that it's just Derdiak's work rate is very poor, although he's gotten to that one. I should take the piss out of him more often. Aaron puts it over the bar, which is his signature move at this point. Oof. Well, like I said, I'm concerned about Serdar being very close to a sending off, so let's bring on this aforementioned youth superstar, Rifat Demiroglu. He's not particularly good as a ball-playing defender, as I mentioned early on, but we'll make it work. As for the team talk, I think I should probably give them the blow dryer treatment. No, I mean that's the only option, and it's been well received more or less. Did I do that as cautiously? Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh well, who cares? Who cares? Nothing matters. We're all gonna end up in the grave anyway. Why even bother trying? Just the nihilists of Istanbul at this point. So let's see. Maybe Demiroglu will come on and score a goal, his first goal for his beloved hometown club. That would be a delight. A good way to send off Richard Radovsky, our manager in this match. And that is the last time that I'm going to say nice things about Aurelien Sheju, because he's now on a yellow card and a 6.1 rating. It's ticking back and forth between 6.0 and 6.1. He's not playing well. I assume that he's been assessed to have been at fault for a bunch of those first-minute goals. Rifat with an assist! Rifat Demiroglu! And it's 4-1. The young 17-year-old already making a mark at Galatasaray. Look at that lovely flick on. Finds the right boot of Aurelien Sheju. That's brilliant stuff. Really a sign of hope for this team. And Linus makes it 4-2. All right, now come on, boys. Let's switch over to to our other formation, because now it's worth trying to actually go for this. Our slightly more attacking formation here. Move Hakan back. Let's see, Rifat's probably better in the central defender position. Linus or Cavanda on the left. Somebody's got to play there. I suppose I could bring Ramon Mota on. Did I even use him as a substitute? No, I didn't. Oh, that's a shame. Well, Cavanda will play on the left. Somebody has to. I'm also very likely going to need to bring on a striker. Let's see, how do I want to do this? Selçuk is on a yellow card, but he is so good at deep line playmaker. I think probably Tolga is perhaps the... Well, actually, yeah, let's do it this way. Let's leave on Schneider and Josue. Tolga will come off as he's on a booking, and he doesn't fit into the new formation. And I think Ismail and Saul, despite his horrendous plays, is the best option to come on there. All right, let's see if we can do this. Also, before we go, let's just switch it over to attacking. We have nothing to lose at this point. See if we can nick a point here. 2 goals. I mean, given our recent struggles with goal scoring, it's a big deficit, but who knows? Anything can happen. Seems to be in a positive mood. Go on. All right. It's not over yet. 2 goals from set pieces here, and I think that's not to be underestimated. And Sheju with the headed assist, so he's got a goal and an assist now in this game, despite being at fault for some of the goals at the other end. Aurelien Sheju has really now redeemed himself and proved himself worthy of the praise that I gave him in the lead up to the match. No highlights, and we are heading towards the 10 minutes left mark. Oh, Schneider. Just wide. So close from Wesley Schneider. And there's another free kick immediately after that. Josue should collect this by the left corner flag. Can he play it back in? Very misplaced pass intended for, it looked like Selçuk in on. Zeki on the right for Trabzonspor. I should think about using my third sub at some point, because we do need to go all hands on deck here to try and save this series. Oh, that's a good ball for Aaron over the top. Aaron shoots it himself when he probably should have crossed it back in for Insal. And the highlight is over. right, let's bring on that final sub here, guys. I'm not sure what our options are, and Yassine Istakin is really the player who incited that huge rebellious team meeting where players openly declared that they lacked confidence in my leadership. I'm inclined to be petty, but we could use an attacking threat, and Josue's not been amazing, so perhaps let's bring him on, bury the hatchet, as it were. And he's not very good as an enganche, though. Is he better as an attacking midfielder? He's awful in both positions. Right, we're not going to bury the hatchet. We're going to Shall we move Selçuk up? Will that work? He's not really suited to that position. Well, perhaps we won't make a change then. I guess let's just leave it. We don't. I've completely made a mess of my prepared substitutions as Schneider misses the target on a free kick. And we don't have enough attacking options as substitutes, so we'll leave it as is. They do have a corner here, though. Aaron heads it away. Gurai sidesteps, and Ibanez just misses the left post. No highlights, really, for us, aside from Schneider's missed free kick. That's disappointing to see. There was a bit of life, but looks like this game is going to end in a result for Trabzonspor, which is a shame. Josue dispossesses Zeki, I think that was. Aaron holds the ball up, finds Hakan Balta. Selçuk in on. It was a decent ball for Kavanda, but well cut out by the defender. Josue, Ünsal. Sheju, Josue, Ünsal, Schneider. Oh. I mean, that shot is still drifting over the stands and landing in the Black Sea. It just absolutely encapsulates the problems that I've had with Wesley Schneider during this series. Such a dangerous player, such a wonderful threat, great passer of the ball, good on set pieces. But he takes so many shots that just scream wide or fly far, far over the bar. And it looks like we will not use our final third substitution, and this will end as a win for Trabzonspor. It has ended 4-2. A goal fest by our standards, by anyone's standards, really. But it has ended as a loss, and the players look motivated by my team talk, but it could very well be the last one, guys. We'll see what happens with our board meeting here, but this series does seem like it's come to a crashing halt. I was told by the board that I needed to collect 11 points from 5 matches. Obviously, if I run the table, win my next 4 matches, I could still hit that target. But who knows if the board will bother to give me that time. And given that I have this other series ready to go, guys, I'm kind of excited about it. I think I'd rather bring this series to an end. It's been a difficult ride. I liked the idea of it initially, but if we just go to look at Galatasaray's financial situation, still declining in an overall balance of nearly £500,000 in the hole, that is. So it just has become a series that is not very much fun. You know, if it was the sort of thing where we could spend a whole bunch of money, bring in a bunch of European superstars, maybe in the twilight of their careers, as Galatasaray were doing when they brought in Podolski and Schneider, then it'd be a little more interesting. But the status, the dire status that the club is currently in, just makes it a not particularly enjoyable save. So, by all means, guys, if you, decide to do a Galatasaray save on your own, let me know about it, and let me know if it worked for you, if you ran into the same problems, or if you were able to find solutions and really help turn the fortunes of the red and gold around. I'd be curious to hear. As I say, I'm not necessarily a super skilled football manager player, and maybe there's things that I can learn from this experience. So anyway, guys, we're going to bring it to an end. That is it for today. Please like, please subscribe, and please come back for episode 1 of my as yet unnamed series.